Welcome to our deep dive, into this world that's kind of both futuristic and also kind of unfolding right in front of us. AI in corporate governance.
Yeah.
Like, picture this, right? Algorithms are like in the boardroom, like calling the shots, making decisions that impact companies.
Yeah, it might sound a little bit like science fiction,
Mm.
but it's closer to reality than you think.
Mm.
And we're going to kind of unpack that today using this research paper from Spain.
Right?
It's called Artificial Intelligence in Senior Management, the Future of Corporate Governance.
Mm.
And it really kind of digs into all the potential and all the pitfalls of this whole landscape that's rapidly evolving.
Okay, so no, like, robot CEOs just yet. But this research suggests that AI is already kind of having a say in how businesses operate.
Right.
So where are we actually seeing this happening in the real world?
One really fascinating example is this algorithm called Vital that was actually appointed to the board of this company called Deep Knowledge Ventures
Really?
back in 2014.
Wow.
Now, this is a Hong Kong-based investment firm that focuses on biotech. And Vital's role was to analyze just massive amounts of data and recommend investment opportunities.
So, like, an AI investor. Did it actually, like, make the final call, or was it more like a consultant?
Yeah, you can think of it as like a superpowered advisor.
Okay.
It didn't actually have voting rights on the board, but its insights, based on crunching all this data, were taken very seriously by the human board members.
Okay.
And this isn't just some one-off experiment.
Right.
I mean, big players like Amazon and Google and JP Morgan are already using AI in their decision-making processes.
Even if not formally on boards.
Right. Exactly.
So it seems like AI is, kind of quietly becoming a pretty influential voice in the business world.
It is.
So what's the big draw? Like, why are companies so interested in bringing AI into the boardroom?
Well, I mean, the potential benefits are pretty compelling.
Okay.
I mean, the research highlights AI's ability to process information at incredible speed,
Right.
far beyond what humans are capable of doing. Imagine an AI sifting through millions of financial transactions, like a superpowered detective.
Okay.
It can spot like these subtle connections and anomalies that would take humans years to uncover.
Yeah, that kind of analytical power could be invaluable, especially when it comes to like risk assessment and things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember the 2008 financial crisis?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the research suggests that AI could have potentially flagged some early warning signs,
Okay.
in the housing market data,
Oh, wow.
signs that human analysts completely missed.
Mm.
So that's the level of insight we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful example, and it's not just about spotting risks. I mean, AI could also, like, help companies identify opportunities that they might otherwise overlook.
Oh, absolutely. AI can analyze market trends, consumer behavior, you name it,
Right.
to pinpoint these emerging opportunities that might not even be obvious to humans.
It's like having a crystal ball that's actually based on, like, data and algorithms.
Exactly.
So AI in the boardroom could lead to, like, faster, more informed decisions, potentially giving companies a real edge.
Yeah.
But I imagine there's a flip side to this coin. What are some of the concerns people have about AI step into such a powerful role?
Well, you're right. It's not all smooth sailing.
Huh.
One of the biggest challenges is this whole question of legal liability.
Okay.
Right now, algorithms can't be held accountable in the same way a human can.
Right.
So if an AI-driven decision leads to, some financial disaster, who takes the blame?
That's a good point. If we're going to give AI a seat at the table, we need to figure out how to hold it accountable.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a very complex issue with legal, ethical, even philosophical dimensions.
Wow.
And it's not the only challenge we need to grapple with.
I'm guessing there are some concerns about AI potentially making decisions that might not, align with human values or ethics.
Yeah, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
AI can process data objectively, but the data itself
Right.
can reflect existing biases.
In the real world.
In the real world.
Yeah.
Which means that an AI trained on biased data could end up, perpetuating those biases in its decisions.
So even though AI can remove human emotion from the equation,
Right.
It's not necessarily a guarantee of perfectly ethical decision-making.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another challenge, the human element.
Okay.
AI, at least in its current form, can't fully replicate qualities like creativity, intuition,
Yeah.
empathy,
Right.
which are still pretty vital in leadership, especially when you're dealing with complex human situations.
So it seems like there's a lot to consider before we hand over the reins to our AI overlords.
Well, maybe overlords is a bit strong.
Okay.
But you're right. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
And that's precisely what we'll do in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good to me. Join us next time as we explore the future of AI and corporate governance and what it means for you.
See you then.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of AI on corporate boards. When we left off, we were talking about some of the issues around legal responsibility and potential bias. It feels like a lot to kind of figure out.
It is, yeah. And these aren't just theoretical concerns either.
Right.
I mean, as AI becomes more integrated into decision-making, the stakes just get higher.
Yeah.
And that's why, this research paper emphasizes the importance of clear regulations
Okay.
and legal frameworks, to actually govern AI's role in corporate governance.
It makes sense that we need rules of the road if we're going to have AI driving some of these big decisions.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about things like data privacy, algorithmic transparency, accountability.
Yeah.
If an AI makes a decision that harms a company or its stakeholders,
Yeah.
Who's ultimately responsible?
That's a big question.
Yeah, these are the kinds of questions that lawmakers and businesses really need to be addressing right now.
So maybe instead of picturing AI like taking over the boardroom completely,
Right.
it's more about finding ways for humans and AI to work together effectively.
Yeah.
The research paper kind of hinted at this idea of hybrid boards.
Right.
What's that all about?
Well, that's one of the most intriguing scenarios I think that a lot of people are exploring.
Okay.
Imagine a boardroom where you've got AI algorithms acting as like these super-powered analysts,
Okay.
providing, real-time data analysis,
Yeah.
risk assessments,
Wow.
even suggestions for strategic moves.
Okay.
And then the human executives can take this information and factor in, the bigger picture ethical consideration, the human impact of those decisions.
I like that image. It's not about replacing human judgment,
Right.
but augmenting it
Exactly.
with AI's, incredible processing power.
Yeah.
Do you think AI would have an actual vote on these hybrid boards?
Well-
Or would its role be purely advisory?
That's a really good question, and it's one that's still up for debate.
Yeah.
I mean, one possibility is that AI could have a say in very specific types of decisions,
Okay.
particularly those that are heavily data-driven.
Okay.
For example, you could have AI handling things like operational decisions, budget allocations, even aspects of hiring, while humans remain focused on, setting the overall strategy,
Right.
defining the company's values, dealing with those more complex human-centered issues.
So AI crunching the numbers and humans handling the big picture strategy and ethics.
Yeah,
It sounds like a pretty good balance on paper.
it does.
But wouldn't that create a tricky situation when it comes to accountability? I mean, if an AI makes a costly mistake in operations,
Yeah.
who takes the fall?
Well, that's a valid concern, and it
Okay.
really highlights the need for very clear lines of responsibility in these hybrid models.
Okay.
Perhaps, there would be a system where humans retain ultimate oversight,
Right.
even for AI-driven decisions.
Okay.
Or maybe we'll need entirely new legal frameworks, that actually assign a level of accountability to the algorithms themselves.
Wow.
It's uncharted territory, and we need to proceed very carefully.
This is all sounding very futuristic, but to be honest, some of this stuff is already happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we see AI being used in things like marketing, customer service, even healthcare.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating is that, as AI gets smarter and more sophisticated, it's moving beyond those initial applications.
Right.
And into areas that, were once thought to be exclusively human domain.
Things like financial analysis, legal research, even creative writing.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what other industries could be transformed by AI decision-making in the coming years.
It really does.
Education, maybe urban planning.
Yeah,
The possibilities seem kind of endless
they do.
and a little daunting, to be honest.
It's true. The potential for AI to revolutionize how we work and live and govern ourselves is immense.
Yeah.
But as we've been discussing, it's crucial to approach this technology with a balanced perspective,
Okay.
acknowledging the potential benefits while also being very, very aware of the potential risks.
So for our listeners out there who might be thinking, this is all very interesting, but how does it affect me?
Right.
What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say that even though AI in the boardroom might seem like a very distant concept, it has implications for all of us. I mean, the decisions made by businesses influenced by AI or not
Right.
impact the products and services we use, the jobs we have, even the future of our economy.
It's a reminder that technology doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Yeah.
It's really deeply intertwined with our lives in ways we might not always realize.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for everyone to kind of engage in this conversation.
Right.
Not just, the tech experts or the corporate leaders.
Yeah.
This is a societal issue that affects all of us.
Well said. So to our listeners, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we want to leave you with some questions to ponder.
Right.
What excites you most about the prospect of AI playing a role in leadership?
And what makes you nervous?
Yeah.
What kind of safeguards do you think are essential to make sure that this powerful technology is used responsibly
Right.
and for the benefit of all?
Join us next time as we conclude our exploration of AI in the boardroom and beyond. Until then, keep those brains buzzing. Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, this whole exploration of AI and corporate governance has been, it's been pretty wild.
Really has. It's a topic that's full of paradoxes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, you've got this incredible potential to like streamline decisions and uncover these hidden opportunities, and maybe even make businesses more efficient and objective.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have all these ethical dilemmas and legal uncertainties
Yeah.
and these big questions about what it all means for, human leadership going forward.
Yeah, it's like we're standing on the edge of a technological frontier and we don't even know what's on the other side.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, where do you land on all of this? Is AI in the boardroom a force for good? Or is it something we should be wary of?
That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, I don't think there's a simple answer.
Okay.
The reality is AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Yeah.
It all depends on how we choose to develop it, deploy it, and regulate it.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about, demonizing AI or blindly embracing it. It's about being thoughtful
Yeah.
and intentional about how we integrate it into businesses and into our lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why these kinds of conversations are so important.
Yeah.
We need to be talking about the ethical implications,
Yeah.
the potential risks, and, the need for really clear guidelines.
Right.
This isn't just a conversation for tech experts or corporate leaders. This is a societal issue
Yeah.
that affects all of us.
One of the things that really struck me throughout this deep dive is that, AI isn't some far-off futuristic concept.
Right.
It's already here. It's already being used in ways that impact our lives.
It is.
And its influence is only going to grow.
That's a crucial point. This isn't science fiction.
Right.
This is the reality we're living in.
Yeah.
AI is already being used in healthcare, finance, education, criminal justice, countless other sectors.
Yes, it's everywhere.
And as AI gets more sophisticated, those applications are only going to expand.
So it feels like we're all part of this grand experiment, whether we realize it or not.
Right.
For figuring out how to live and work alongside these increasingly intelligent machines.
Yeah.
And we're still writing the rules of engagement as we go.
It's a fascinating and potentially transformative time to be alive.
It is.
And it's a time for all of us to be engaged and asking questions
Right.
and thinking critically about the choices that we're making both individually and collectively.
So to our listeners, we'll leave you with this.
Okay.
The future of AI in corporate governance and in our world more broadly is still being written.
It is.
And you have a role to play in shaping that future.
Absolutely.
Stay informed, stay curious, and stay engaged.
As we navigate this uncharted territory, let's do so with, a sense of shared responsibility, ensuring that this powerful technology is used to create a future that benefits everyone.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and corporate governance. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.